I gave myself annual leave. I really gave myself annual leave. Guys, I have to apologize. There've not been consistent videos on this channel for a few weeks, and I'll be real, I gave myself annual leave. I really gave myself annual leave. I was tired. I was very, very, very tired. And I'm happy to be back and filming again, but it's a learning curve for me, anyways, that I need to probably sort out my systems so that even when I decide to give myself annual leave again, because that time will come, you just never know. You just never know. I need to have a system in place where I still have videos posted in my absence instead of it just going dry, like Sahara Desert dry. So, apologies about that. And the video that I want to discuss, what I want to discuss in this video, is actually very ironic because of what it took me to get to this point now where I'm recording. A lot has happened. A lot has happened behind the scenes to get me to this point where I'm now officially recording now. I want to speak about resilience. This video is going to tie really nicely with the video that I did last week about the fixed versus the growth mindset. And we're just going to pick up from that video where I'm talking specifically about growth mindset people. So if you have that growth mindset or you want to have a growth mindset, this video is perfect for you. It's perfect for the entrepreneurs. It's perfect for those people who really want to get to the next level. It's perfect for those people who maybe have a fixed mindset or realize that they have a fixed mindset and want to do something about it. Now, before I tell you about the atrocities that I went through to get to this point of recording, I want to give you an example of someone who shows resilience, or he has shown resilience because he's not here now to speak about it. But I'm currently reading a book. No, I'm not reading it. Sorry. I'm listening to an audiobook right now because I prefer to listen than to actually sit down and read. I don't have time in the day to just do this and read, but I'm listening to an audiobook right now and very interesting. I'm loving it. And there's a section where he actually starts to talk about Thomas Edison. Is it Edison? I think it's Edison. Now, if you do not know who Thomas Edison is, I don't even know why you're here at this point. This guy is revolutionary in what he did. He is the guy who created the light bulb. He's the guy that created the light bulb. Not light, because like we said, God said, let there be light. Genesis 1, go read it for yourself. God invented light. But Thomas Edison was the guy that invented the light bulb. You're probably thinking, why am I even... Where's the correlation? You're probably thinking there's a disconnect. There's no disconnect, because the reason I'm bringing this guy up is when I was listening to this audiobook talking about trials and tribulations he went through to actually get to the point of now everyone has a light bulb. It's looking very easy and accessible for people to have light bulbs. This guy failed 10,000 times. I'm just even going to check that. I don't even believe... No, not 10,000. Forgive me. He failed 1,000 times. He failed 1,000 times before we get to what we call the light bulb. The light bulb that we call light bulb we switch on at night. 1,000 times he was unsuccessful before it happened. Now that shows a level of resilience. And if you don't know what resilience is, my own personal definition of resilience is bounce back ability. So your ability to bounce back from something that's been a bit troubling or whatever, you've been able to bounce back and get back on form. Now, if you don't like my definition, it's okay, because I have the definition that everybody else can use if you don't like mine. And the definition of resilience, I've got it here. It says the capacity of a person to maintain their core purpose and integrity in the face of dramatically changing circumstances. Or another definition I've got here is an ability to recover, adjust easily from misfortune / change. So those definitions for me are a little bit more wordy, a little bit more meaty. But if you like my definition, you know what? You can have it. I'll give it to you for free. So resilience is bounce back ability. And now if I go back to my Thomas Edison example, when I was reading this, or no, sorry, I keep saying I'm reading. I'm really not reading this thing. I'm listening to the audiobook. When I was listening to the audiobook and it was talking about him, it took him 1,000 times to get to the light bulb that we call today, that you can just go and collect from any common shop. You can just go get light bulb right now if you really wanted to. But before that happened, he had to go through those trials. He had to fail 1,000 times before he was successful. In this day and age, I don't know how many people will be willing to actually fail something 1,000 times before they actually get to that point of being successful. And the reason I'm using this as my first example of someone who's been very resilient is from the lessons that we can actually learn from Thomas Edison. I keep saying Edison, from Thomas Edison, and there's many of the examples I'm going to use later on in this video, is your ability to actually not give up, because like that original definition says, you have some core values within you that are pushing you to continue to carry on. Without these core values, without these key principles, without the thing that you're really fighting for, it will be very, very difficult for you to be resilient. It will be difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. It will be very, very difficult. So this guy, he can't speak for himself, so I don't know what he was thinking before he made the light bulb, but he's probably sick and tired of it being dark. That, why is it always dark outside? No, why is it always dark? What, 5 p.m. is dark? What's really going on? And it probably got to a point where it was just ticking him off. Like, he's tired of being in the dark. Why are we still using candles? What's going on with these candles? We need something a bit better. He's not here to speak for himself, but I'm just guessing what he might have been going through before he actually now decided to go ahead and create this light bulb, which he proved to be successful after 1,000 times. You need to objectively look at the thing that you're trying to achieve. And if it doesn't work, like I said in my last video, and I've said in a few other videos, you have to kind of shift your perspective. Shift your perspective from why has this not worked to what do I need to change to make this work? That is very important, because if you carry on thinking of yourself as a failure, like I've said in many videos before, you'll become that reality. That will become your trajectory if you want it to be. But if something doesn't work, you actually have to remove your emotions out of that situation that didn't work and think objectively. And I'm thinking about business heads, because that's what I'm always thinking about all the time, 25/8. What can I do differently? This has not worked in this capacity. What can I do to kind of shift my perspective? Or what can I do to shift this and I'll try again? I'll go ahead and try this again. You'll never get to that point where you can maybe call yourself success, or if you want to be, you might not want to be successful. This just might be to pass time. You might just like listen to my voice. I don't know. But if you want to be successful one day, if you want to be someone who has those accolades one day, many people do, many people don't. It depends who you are as a person. But a lot of people want to be someone that has accolades, someone that's getting receiving all the finer things in life, but you're not willing to actually put in the work, put in the graft. The good things take time. These things do not happen overnight, and if they do, anything that happens that quickly will also be ruined just as quick as well. Just bear that in mind. So you have to be willing to be at the rehearsals. You have to be willing to be at the practice sessions. Instead, you want to be on the stage, you want to be like, everyone wants to be on stage with you, but people are not willing to be at rehearsals with you. That's not how it works. Resilience is built in that rehearsal stage. It's built in those trials and errors. That's when you actually have the opportunity to become resilient. So look at your situation objectively and look at your why has this not worked? What could I do differently? How can I shift my perspective and learn to grow from that? And that only works when you have that growth mindset. Like I said, fixed mindset. You look at yourself as failure, call it a day, put some standards on, and that's it. You give up. But like this light bulb guy, 1,000 times it took him before he actually, succeeded. And these videos, they're for you guys, but also they're for me. I actually listen back to these things because the wisdom that comes, or when I speak sometimes, I even surprise myself. And it's not from me. Everything is from the Lord. All the wisdom that I get and I speak to you guys, it comes from the Lord. You have to be very clear about who your Lord is. My Lord is God the Father, Son, and Spirit. My God is, that is my God. Because many people will actually say, oh yeah, thank you, God. And their God is like a sculpture that they've made the day before or something like that. You have to be specific. So that's who I'm referring to. That's where my wisdom comes from. So when I'm speaking these things, I actually listen back to these things sometimes, especially when you're not in that season where you feel like you are able to be resilient. It's just like a boost. So listen to this when you need a little bit of a boost, a little bit of a boost up to get you back to that place where you are being resilient again. Now, my next example is a lady that we all know as Rosa Parks. Love Rosa Parks. And she is, if you don't, oh wait, is she still, I don't think she's still alive. Let me check. Oh, yeah, she's not here anymore. I'm 20 years late. I should have known that anyways. Rosa Parks, yeah, yeah, yeah. 20 years too late. But anyways, if you guys don't know who Rosa Parks is, you guys need to go and do your research. Rosa Parks is revolutionary. And the examples of people that I'm using are revolutionary. Some of them are creatives, some of them are inventors. And I want to kind of put myself in the same category because I'm going to watch this video in 20 years' time and I look back and be like, wow, you actually said you was an inventor. You actually said you did something revolutionary. You actually said you was going to do those things. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it and I'm leaving it on the YouTube castle, like I call this place YouTube castle, for me to come back and look and say, Stace, you said you was going to be an inventor. You said you was going to be a creative. You said you was going to do something revolutionary and you have done it. It might not be 20, might be 15, it might be 30, but I will look back at this video and say, thank you, Lord. So anyways, Rosa Parks, she absolutely amazing. She actually was sick and tired of going to the back of the bus. If you don't know about the civil rights movement in the 50s in America, it's not even that long ago that this happened, to be honest, but was very different. I'm not saying a lot has changed now, but a little bit has changed. And back in that time, it was customary for anyone who was not white, black people, to be going to the back of the bus. So the white people had priority and they would go to the front of the bus and the black people would go to the back of the bus. So Rosa was sick. She was sick and tired of those back seats. Like she was actually done. She was actually done with it. So there was a time where she was sitting at where she wanted to sit, pay the same fare as the other guys on the bus. And then a white person came and said to her, okay, like move, basically. And that day she said no. That day she said, actually, I'm going to stay right here, thank you. I'm going to actually stay right here. And that caused so much ruckus. It caused so much beef, basically. The fact that she actually refused to actually get up from her chair and go and sit elsewhere. Now, this lady had to be resilient because the turmoil that she caused by just that decision changed what we call now the civil rights movement as we know it today. Like that caused so much disruption to the system. But she had, like the definition says, there's some core values that you have to believe in. These are the things that are driving you to make your decisions. These are the things that you have to remember and know when you are going through these things. For Rosa Parks, maybe equality was a thing that she wanted to achieve. Maybe she was just sick and tired of racism. She's probably sick and tired of it. Like, it's enough. It's actually enough now. And that's probably why she said, no, actually, I'm going to stay right here. Thank you. She had to be resilient because she got put into prison. Free my girl Rosa. She got put into prison. Loads of things happened, but this lady had to remain resilient and remain true to her values in the misfortune that happened afterwards. She had to still remember why she did that, and what she did was revolutionary because it changed the whole civil rights movement. There's many of the people I could speak about within that movement, but that's the one that I wanted to focus on as an example of someone who is resilient. And I've given you two. I've given you an inventor. I've given you someone in like civil rights movement. I want to give you maybe two more. Who can I think of? If you guys don't know Harriet Tubman, go and research Harriet Tubman. Again, she's an absolute G. She literally built like an underground tunnel to free some slaves. So obviously she left and then she decided to actually go and collect more slaves and like bring them to like the free area, the free land and that sort of thing. And she would literally say she would have visions from God who would literally tell her where to go to escape and which routes to take. And literally, she was under the authority of the Lord who literally directed her every single step. And she was able to free multiple people. She had to be resilient as well because do you know what would have happened to her if she got caught? Lock off. Everything lock off. If she got caught, it would have, oh Lord, it wouldn't have been a good day. It wouldn't have been a good day. But Harriet, again, she had certain values. And in the midst of this misfortune that was happening, she had to remain resilient. And she was successful in what she did. She was able to free so many people. To this day, people will remember her for that. But she was resilient for that. There's many people who I can use as an example. My example is not that great about what happened, the situation that happened today. Maybe I'll tell you another day. But it took a lot for me to get to this point where I'm recording this video. But I can't now say my example next to Harriet Tubman because you actually be like, Stace, like, you're actually ridiculous. Like, you actually did. It did require a level of resilience, but on a scale of Harriet Tubman and me, I'm not I'm not even on that scale. The last person I wanted to use as an example for resilience is you guys must know KFC, right? And I say to this day, KFC hot wings are slap. If you want to get me KFC, get me the hot wings. And Colonel Sanders, the guy that actually invented the KFC hot wings, yeah, he went through a lot. You know, he really went through a lot. He, first of all, he started his entrepreneurship journey in his 60s. So, for anyone who thinks it's too late, again, that's another lesson. I'll probably do that another day. It's not too late. The guy started in his 60s. I even saw on Instagram this 75-year-old woman who was fit as a fiddle. She even had a six-pack, lifting, all of that stuff. She looks about 40, late 40s. She's 75. And she was going on about, like, it's not too late. Like, don't have that mindset. But that's a story for another day. Colin Sanders, he had to do his KFC recipe 1,009 times before it was approved. He got rejected for that recipe 1,009 times. There would be no KFC of today if the guy, obviously, if you're vegetarian, vegan, he's not changed your life particularly. But if you eat chicken, like people, I eat chicken. Yeah, 1,009 times his recipe got rejected. But that guy had to remain resilient. He knew this thing would work. He knew this thing would work. And he continued to go through that until it was approved. Until it was approved. And that 1,010th time is the reason we have what we call KFC today. That's the reason we've got KFC today, because of someone's resilience. The reason we have light bulbs today is because someone's resilience. The reason that the civil rights movements happened is because of someone's resilience. The reason maybe in South Africa about the apartheid is because of someone's resilience. All of these things that have changed history and changed your life as you know it, if you reflect on your life as you know it, has been because of someone else's resilience. Like I'm not putting KFC next to Harriet Tubman, next to Nelson Mandela, and trying to see who's got the most, because within their own rights, they are resilient within their own field. But I'm telling you, the person who said yes the 1010th time, I think they were my ancestor, because they got the same taste buds as me. That thing slaps. Hot wings slap. And if you don't like them, I don't care. More for me. It doesn't matter. But all of these examples I'm using are to show you resilience in action, how people have actually done this, and the importance of resilience, especially if you have a particular goal, a particular dream, something that you want to achieve. You must absolutely be resilient. Be, which means you'll go through trials. Not every day is rosy, because if it was rosy every single day, then there'll be no need to be resilient, because everything, life is sweet. But the reason you get faced with hardships, you have to now think like our national anthem, shout out to Aaliyah, pick yourself up and try again. Until further notice, that's the national anthem. Okay, for the growth mindset people, pick yourself up and try again. You have to actually face those hardships head on, and that takes a lot for many people. Many people like the comfort life. They like the Egypt. I'll just go back to my Egypt. It's nice and comfy over there. Remember that cucumber. The Israelites wanted to go back to Egypt. But your Canaan awaits for you, but there'll be resilience and hardships before you get there. You have to be willing to go through that. There's no other way. There is no other way. So I'm hoping this video is encouraging for people. I hope it's also informative for people as well, but most importantly, transformational for people, because that resilience comes with hardships. So hardships will come, yes. How will you respond to those hardships is what will get you to the next level. Capiche? Now I'm just hoping I have no more issues with recording stuff. I'm done. I'm done with recording this video today. So thank you for tuning in again. And until next time, people, ciao.